guys, and welcome back to Hilltop Farm. Welcome to another episode of Across the Duck Pond. Interesting development this week. It actually started to manifest itself last week, and while we were filming for last week's episode, right at the very tail end of the footage, we actually captured this problem we're having on film, and I actually cut that bit because I realised, having seen what was going on, I needed to do some research and perhaps cover that as a complete separate issue, which of course is what I'm doing. So what actually has happened is the ducklings, as you know, have hatched. She successfully hatched all those ducklings herself, and she and her partner were happily looking after them. Now, I hadn't witnessed it, but my wife had noticed in those first couple of weeks, a couple of times the babies came too close to their dad and he gave them a bit of a peck and they'd scurry off behind mum, and we just assumed that it was a case of he didn't want them annoying him. But as you can imagine, with 12 of them, as they're getting bigger and more adventurous, it's harder for mum to protect all 12 at once because they go off in different directions. And while we were filming that last week, she was, I think from memory, she was in the pond splashing about, and all the ducklings were enjoying themselves, sunning themselves, and he was just scratching around looking for worms or something, and two of them decided to join their mum in the pool. And as they walked towards the pool, he spotted them and he went nuts and he actually attacked them, and one of them he sort of got hold of, and she ended up getting in between them, and she protected the baby. But I thought this was a bit odd behaviour. So I did a bit of online searching. There's a lot of talk about the Muscovy ducks behaving this way. But those of you that actually know and do a bit of research, Muscovy ducks aren't actually ducks, they're actually geese, which is why their eggs take longer to hatch. Scientifically, they're actually part of the family, you know, that geese belong to, not ducks. So I'm not counting them because their behaviour is obviously different, because they're not the same thing as an Indian runner. So anyway, I've got a good friend who lives a couple of hours away that has Indian runner ducks, and she's the only other person I know of that's had any luck with their Indian runners actually hatching their own eggs. So I contacted her and sort of said, look, you know, should I be concerned? Is this normal? She said, definitely not normal. She said hers don't do it, and she wouldn't tolerate it if they did, were her comment. She said the first thing I would do is take him away before he hurts them, and think twice about whether or not you're going to keep him. But she wouldn't be keeping any of his sons either, in case they have those sorts of traits. And we've really enjoyed this with Josephine rearing her own ducklings. Really takes a lot of the work off of us. Anyone who has hatched out their own ducklings and done all that, it's 10 times more work than chicks, like rearing chickens, because they're just so dirty. You've got to bath them. You've got to their brooder gets filthy. You can't just clean it out every day with a quick sweep. You know, it's got to be scrubbed. They're disgusting. So anyway, and this has been great. So we would really rather have a flock that did this. But of course it's no good if the fathers are going to be aggressive towards the babies. So we took Manny away and we bit the bullet and made the decision. And Manny has gone. And that's all I'll say about that. And Josephine is, she's almost relieved, I think, because it's made her job of looking after the ducklings easier. She doesn't have to contend with him. And look, he's always been the dominant Drake around, and it's been very hard getting him to accept others, even other females. Would rather just be with Josephine and just the two of them, and that's that. So it's, you know, it's done us a favour, really. But anyway, after talking to my my friend, she's got a beautiful flock of Indian runners, most beautiful colours, lovely natures, and all of the rest of it. And we sort of said, okay, we're going to take some of her eggs and we're going to hatch out some of her breeding, her line, and yeah, and hopefully introduce these gentle, good qualities into the line. Okay, so that's what we did. Now all this took place, well, the separating Manny, that took place right after I finished making that video. But today, this morning, we've just gotten back from a trip to pick up the eggs. I originally wanted 18, didn't want 2 dozen, but I often think when you've only got a dozen, if things don't go right, you only end up with 2 or 3, or anyway. But I thought, no, 18 would be a good number. And then, of course, what happens being here in the middle of summer is you get a heat wave and the ducks stop laying, don't they? So all she was able to do was 14. And I said, look, that's fine. I'll pick them up to save them getting too old, which we've done. So, as you can see here, we're doing the old method. If you want to see how we do it, there is a series on the channel, I think it's 4 parts, how to successfully hatch duck eggs. So I'm not going to follow this all the way through. When I do an update on the ducks outside, I'll let you know what's happening here, but I'm not going to follow it closely, you know, unless you guys want me to. And if you do, just leave comment below, and enough of you want to, I guess I will, you know, cover it. But so what we've got here is we've got what I call our fake nests. I've got 2 of them in here, obviously 7 in each, having the 14. These are all dampened down, so they're moist without being soaked. It's wood shavings. These eggs are resting because, so they've had a 2-hour drive, part of which is on a corrugated dirt road, so they get a bit of a shake up in the car. So we're going to get them home, nice and cool, moisture, put them all in the incubator, ready to go, and we just let them settle and they rest. If they've flown or something like that, I like to leave them for a good 24 hours. If they were really, really fresh, like all laid in the last 2 or 3 days, I'd be happy to leave them 24 hours. Once they hit a week old, I'm torn between, 1, letting them rest because of, you know, letting everything settle in there, and 2, being aware that, okay, some of these eggs are starting to get a bit old. These particular eggs, I know, what have we got here? Thursday of last week, there's at least 1 of them that was laid that day, I think maybe even 2. And it's Thursday today, so it's technically 8 days old. So I'm anxious to get this turned on. So these, they've been here now for an hour, maybe two. I will probably leave them another couple of hours, and then I will turn the incubator on and we will get started. Okay, now that's really all to report. You've already seen the video of Manny attacking the babies. I'll just show you what they're doing this week, and you'll possibly notice they seem to be a bit happier and a bit more relaxed without him around. So this is what they're up to. And so, you know, we're obviously, with him being aggressive like that, we were lucky to catch it when we did, and we've still got 12 healthy, unharmed babies. I'm extremely impressed with Josephine. I mean, to hatch out 12 was a feat, but to actually rear them is something else again. And they're, what are they? I think they're about 4 weeks old tomorrow, which means, you know, other than a predator, they're home and hosed, because even if she was to walk away and not be interested, you've got to remember we're in the middle of summer, so they don't need her for warmth. So they'd be fine if she abandoned them for some reason. But doesn't seem to be any sign of that. So yeah, all is going well. So that's what's happening. Just be aware, if you're in the same situation as us, that the male may become aggressive. And if you're anything like us, don't put up with it. And I'm not talking about Muscovies, or I'm talking about Indian runner ducks. They're placid by nature. So there's absolutely no reason for them to be aggressive like that, and they're not all like that. So if you have one like that, don't put up with it. Cull it, whether you rehome it or put it in the freezer, it's up to you. And look for a strain or a line of ducks that are better natured, and don't do it. Alright? Which is what we're doing. Just so that we don't, I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, just so that we don't lose the line though, once these are old enough, we know what sex they are, we are going to pick a female to continue on with, so that we've got a daughter from that. We're just not going to keep a male from that. Okay, so that's it for this week's Across the Duck Pond. I hope you've enjoyed it and found it informative. If you did, give us a big thumbs up and remember to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any other videos. Thank you for joining us, and until next week, it's goodbye from Hilltop Farm. See ya!